Cell.
To sell.
Yeah! Hey everyone, welcome back to Cells to Cell. My name is Heem, that's Nick, and we're back at it for another Trivia Tuesday, and today we're doing it in cell transport and energy.
Yeah, just another kind of biochem quiz, general biology quiz that we kind of thought was easy but challenging due to the fact that we probably haven't heard a lot of these terms in 4 years. So
Yeah.
it'll be just like a nice refresher.
When I think of cell transport and energy, I'm thinking about the mitochondria,
Yeah.
pretty much. I don't know what other stuff we're going to be tested about with energy, because energy in a cell is pretty much mitochondria, but we'll find out some other things. Who's going first?
You can.
Me?
You take the first 8.
All right, I'll take the first 8. It's out of 15, so it works out. So, question number 1. The process in which the movement of materials across a membrane requires energy. Passive transport, diffusion, active transport, facilitated diffusion. This is going to be active transport. That's correct. That's a pretty straightforward, easy one. All right, question 2. The process that moves any material from high concentrations to low concentrations is called. So from high to low, diffusion, active transport, endocytosis, or osmosis. I'm going to say osmosis. Or osmosis has directly to do with water, right? So process that moves any material from high concentrations to low concentrations is called... I want to say osmosis.
Did it say osmosis?
No, it's either diffusion or osmosis. I'm going to say osmosis, but I'm going to just choose diffusion. That's right, diffusion. Osmosis has to do with water. Okay. Question number 3. The process in which liquids from the surrounding area are taken into the cell is called phagocytosis, pinocytosis, exocytosis, or passive transport. When you're talking about water, it's pinocytosis. I don't think it's phagocytosis. Phagocytosis has to do more with like... Oh my god, I think it's pinocytosis. Yes, that's right. So, 3 for 3. Alright, question number 4. The compound in which energy is released through the process of cellular respiration. It's called sunlight, ATP, ADP, metabolism, and the compound is ATP. Yes, cellular respiration creates ATP. Question number 5. The energy pathway that uses energy to build up larger molecules from smaller ones is known as ATP, ADP, catabolic, or anabolic. Catabolic, I think, is breaking things down. Anabolic might be making things. So I'm going to say anabolic. That's right. Okay, 5 for 5. This is good so far. Question number 6. Energy can be defined as formation of power, chemical reactions, ability to do work, or creation of heat. I think energy can be defined as ability to do work. I think it is. That's correct. 6 for 6. Question number 7. A solution that has a greater concentration than a cell, it would be a blank solution. Hyper. When you're talking about the solution would be hyperton. It could be too much. And that's true. 7 for 7. Now number 8 has a figure to it. Something going from low concentration to high concentration. What does this image represent? Passive transport, no. Active transport, maybe. Pinocytosis or phagocytosis. I'm going to say active transport, because active transport usually takes things from low concentration to high concentration against its natural way. That's right, 8 for 8.
Good stuff.
Okay, Nick.
Good stuff.
Dude, let's see how you do.
I think it was a good quiz.
This is actually a really great quiz.
Centered. Yeah, it is a good quiz. Heem did really well. All right, question number 9. Let's get it started. What process is shown in the picture? So the blue and purple blobs are transport proteins, and the green pieces are solutes. Is it active transport, facilitated diffusion, osmosis, or penocytosis? I'm going to go with facilitated diffusion because this reminds me of sodium potassium pumps on our nerves and how like they'll open and like 2 go out, 3 come in, or the opposite way, but it's against their concentration gradient. So I'm going to go facilitated diffusion. It's probably wrong. It's correct.
Ooh.
It's correct. 1 for 1. Question number 10. Which of these organisms have the largest surface area to ratio, or to which of these organisms have the largest surface area to volume ratio? Surface area to volume. So a bacterium, butterfly, bacteria, or elephant?
What is that question?
It's going to be bacteria. I'm going to go with bacteria. It's bacterium, you know.
That's the answer.
I feel like that's a stupid question.
Bacterium.
Bacterium, not bacteria.
Oh, that's dumb.
What's the difference between a bacteria and a bacterium?
Is bacteria plural?
Yeah, but why?
Why?
Why would there be a plural? I don't know.
That's what the question's asking.
That's a silly question.
Man.
Oh well. All I know is that there's a reason cells are a certain size, and it's because of their surface volume, or like their surface area to volume ratio. Because if one was too big, like if the inside of the cell was too big, obviously it bursts, like the surface area would be too big. But if the surface area was too big and there was too much cytoplasm, there'd be too much distance to travel for things to happen. So the cell would become inefficient, and it would take a lot more energy to survive. So there's a reason that happens. So question number 11. What happens to red blood cells if we place them in water? They remain unchanged, they swell up and burst, they start shriveling as the water is lost by osmosis, or they get shrink. I believe that means they get shrunk. Okay, so if we have salt, so if we just have a pure H2O with a red blood cell in the middle, salt is going to try to diffuse out of the blood cell. Or no?
I would say so. You're thinking the right thing.
But so if salt wanted to diffuse out, how would that affect the inside? Would more water rush in so that would swell up and burst? That's correct. That's correct, because it's going to be both moving in and out.
Yes.
I always get those messed up.
I know.
It takes me a second to really think of those, but we did good on that one. So, question 12. The purpose of cholesterol in the cell membrane is to maintain fluidity, communicate with other cells, help cells stick together, or makes the bilayer hydrophobic. So it's not D. Help cells stick together. Maybe. Communicate with other cells. I don't believe so. And maintain fluidity. No. I'm going to go with help cells stick together. No, it is maintain fluidity.
What?
Is there...
Cholesterol? Cholesterol?
Yeah. I was just thinking that cholesterol sticks if you have too much of it in your blood vessels, so maybe it makes them sticky.
When they're in the membrane, they're part of the intermembrane.
That's true.
So they help with the fluidity.
That's true. Okay. Question 13. Carbohydrates in the cell membrane contribute to structure, protection, cell-to-cell adhesion, none of the above. So carbs.
I don't know this one. Carbs?
I don't think it's cell-to-cell adhesion. I don't think it's protection. So it's either structure or none of the above.
metabolizes structure.
I guess. No, it's cell-to-cell adhesion.
Really?
Yeah, interesting.
How?
I guess it. When I think of cell-to-cell adhesion, I think of anchor proteins, and those are not carbohydrates. But there are also glycoproteins, and like there's combinations of things on the cell. But man, I've really ruined this quiz score for both of us. But oh well. All right, question number 14. Which of the following is involved in cell communication? Okay, carbohydrates, proteins, phospholipids, or the cytoplasm. So it's not the cytoplasm, but it could be proteins, it could be carbohydrates, and it could be it's not phospholipids. Phospholipids are like the heads. So it's between carbohydrates and proteins. And I'm going to put carbohydrates because the last question said that carbohydrates are used for... No.
I'd say protein.
No, it's proteins. That's correct. Carbohydrates was sticking or whatever.
Adhesion.
Yeah.
Cell-to-cell adhesion.
Yes. All right, and then what are the two types of cell transport? Select the options. So I'm going to go with active and passive. Diffusion and infusion, not really. And those two are correct. So we end today with an 80 out of 100. You know, I kind of messed that one up a little bit. But I feel like those couple questions I got were kind of hard. So
that's all right. Yeah, I feel like your questions were good. As usual, Nick always gets the hard questions.
That's quite all right. So
I like that quiz you found, though. It's taking us back to our basics.
Well, you have to every once in a while, and we've said it on this podcast before, like, you have to be able to understand the basics before you can get into these big, broad concepts regarding, disease models and specific drugs targeting specific proteins. How does that drug get into the cell, and how does that cell interact with that drug when it has it contained inside? So you need these basics. They're important, and going back and refreshing yourself on them is never a bad thing. Never bad, even in a silly 15-question quiz.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, I think that's it, right? So that was another just fun quiz, another Trivia Tuesday, another light episode. So, got anything else?
That's all for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. This has been another Trivia Tuesday on Cell to Cell. And I'm Nick, that's Heem. See you guys.
See ya. Boom.